Welcome to the Easy Odds FA Cup video cast. I'm here with the Mad Dog Ross Casey to run through all the games that we're going through today.
How's it going?
And we're going to start off with Arsenal versus Hull. A final from a few years back. Arsenal doing really well in the Premier League, obviously. Hull are doing really well in the Championship, top of the league at the moment. Two different leagues. Obviously, things can change, but what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, Hull must be absolutely sick of facing Arsenal. They seem to draw them out of the hat.
For a team that's in a different league.
Every single year.
Yeah.
Never at the KC Stadium either. Always seems to be at the Emirates, which is unlucky
always
for them.
In London.
Always in London.
Did you say, what's the stat? Arsenal have played all of their...
Yeah, I think the year that they won the FA Cup 2014 against Hull in the final, they didn't leave London because they played all their games at home.
That is absolutely crazy.
And then the semi-final and the final played at Wembley. So
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, don't like to travel, Arsenal.
No.
Cheapskates. But yeah, moving on to the betting for this game. Arsenal are best price 12 to 19 odds on. You can see why they're a very good team. They're coming off the back of a huge win against Leicester, which keeps them in the title race in the Premier League. Hull, whilst being a very good Championship team, are going away to Arsenal. Not many teams manage to even get a point or a draw in this case, as it's a cup game. So their best price of 28 to 5, huge price, but I certainly won't be backing them to win at the Emirates. I also don't think that it's worth actually backing Arsenal because they're far too short at 12 to 19 really, unless you're going to stick them in a Aki maybe.
Yeah, big Aki.
But as a single bet, I think the best one here is actually Danny Welbeck to score any time. He was the absolute hero last weekend, coming up with the header. It was pretty much his first touch to beat Leicester 2-1. And I can see him coming in to actually start this game, as I'm fully expecting them to make a lot of changes as they're playing Barcelona in midweek.
Definitely.
On Tuesday night, up against the absolute might of those front three players.
Yeah.
I would rest as many players as you possibly can.
Yeah.
They actually played Burnley in the last round at home, Arsenal did, and they made quite a few changes there. And I expect them to do the exact same here.
It's a classic Wenger move, isn't it? There's no way he's going to put a full-strength team.
Yeah, they've got a good squad, so they can rotate quite a bit and still probably win this game. And I expect Welbeck, who needs games under his belt, to probably start this game, maybe get 60 minutes or so. And I think that he can get on the score sheet at best price of 5 to 3, pretty decent price there. But as my punt, as I always give a fairly long shot punt for these games, got Harry Maguire, the big strapping centre half at Hull. Worst price 6 to 1, which is, as you've said to me earlier in the week, is possibly the worst price of all time.
Worst price of anything of all time. There's never been a worse price.
6 to 1 is far too short.
Yeah.
When you think that Hull are almost 5 to 1 just to win the game.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. What were they thinking?
But there you go. Whereas using the odds comparison service on Easy Odds, you can actually get 24 to 1, which is a far better price, considering that he could be a threat at set pieces.
4 times bigger.
Absolutely, yeah. Championship sides going to the likes of the Emirates Stadium tend to make the most of their free kick routines.
Set pieces are going to be important.
They'll probably be practicing all week their set pieces, trying to come up with a way to get past Arsenal. And 24 to 1 for a big centre half in the box. Get it in the mix to hopefully win us some money.
24 to 1. You have to be rolling it if you win that one.
Yep.
Absolutely rolling in it. But 6 to 1, no point. That's crazy. Even imagine if you backed it at 6 to 1. How annoyed you'd be if you scored and then you found out later on he was 24 to 1 and you didn't use the exact
same selection.
You'd be very, very angry. I would anyway. Okay, next up we're going to Bournemouth versus Everton. I mean, Bournemouth were looking like they could make a great escape earlier in the year, but they're kind of slowing down a little bit, looking a little bit close to the relegation zone. Everton obviously very good away from home. What do you think is going to happen here, Ross?
Yeah, as you've said, Bournemouth on the slide a little bit. They seem to have spent a whole lot of money in January trying to improve their attack, but they didn't improve their defence at all, apart from signing Silva in the summer, who's just really old and up against his old team here. But I actually think that 13 to 10 is fair on Everton to be winning this game. Away from home, they're really, really good. They've only lost twice away from home all season, coming up against a Bournemouth side who have won just 3 of their 13 home games. So you can absolutely see why Everton are favourites to win this game.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily backing them here because they have played already this season in a 3-3 game at the Vitality Stadium, where Bournemouth came from 3-1 behind. Last, was it like 97th minute?
Yeah,
Stanislas header.
Absolutely crazy.
Great moment in the Premier League this season. So Everton have already failed to beat them once this season, and you could definitely argue that since then they've improved their team. So 13-10 is a little bit short for me personally here. So I'm going to actually say 10-11 is a safer bet. It's odds on, but on overs in the over-under market, over 2.5 goals, which means, of course, for there to be 2 or more goals scored. And I'm thinking that's a wise bet, because 5 of the last 7 games at the Vitality have seen 2 or more goals scored, whilst Everton have actually scored 10 goals in the last 4 away games. So there's goals surely on the horizon in this one.
Definitely. Well, you think so, 100%. With those stats, I mean, you should be.
Fingers crossed.
And add into the 10-11 into the accumulator thing, and you'll be absolutely loving life. How old is Sylvan Distin now?
I think he might be coming up to 40. Surely.
I think he might be coming up to 60, 70, around that kind of mark. He's been playing forever.
You watch now. He'll score the winner now.
Forever. He'll score a header. Put that in a double with the other guy. The other centre back. What's he called?
Cook
and Distin score a double.
That's it.
Okay, next up we have Blackburn versus West Ham. Blackburn struggling a little bit in the Championship. They did manage to win against Fulham midweek 3-0, which is a good result. West Ham are without Andy Carroll, which is just an absolute travesty to me.
Your favourite player
of all time? My favourite player of all time. My favourite player in the Premier League. Best hair of anyone in the Premier League. Maybe ever.
Possibly ever, yeah.
Ronaldo in the World Cup. Andy Carroll with his cornrows now.
Yeah.
Equal level of hair.
Equal levels.
Yeah. But, betting, yeah. What do you think is going to happen in the betting market here, Ross?
I actually think that West Ham are a really good price here, 5-4 to win this game. They're an improved team from last season under Allardyce. He did a decent job at West Ham, but Slaven Bilic has taken them on even further. I like Slaven Bilic. 7th place now, just 1 point off 5th place at the moment in the Premier League, doing really, really well. Only lost 2 of their last 16 matches in any of their fixtures in any competition. 5-4 to beat Blackburn. That's an absolutely brilliant price there.
That's an amazing price.
Absolute styles clash here with West Ham being an expansive, and also quite expensive.
Kind of expensive. Now they're paying Paya.
Attacking force up against a Blackburn team who like to keep it tight at the back. Blackburn have only let in 13 goals in 16 matches at home, which is absolutely incredible. But I do think that West Ham should have too much going forward with the likes of Paya and your man Andy Carroll. Of course.
He's injured.
I was injured.
Yeah,
of course
he's injured.
Yeah, so they have to play a better player like Valencia. So that's fine.
What? I'm not watching it anyway. Valencia's player.
Yeah, so that's my tip there. 5-4 on West Ham to win this game, especially with the fact that Danny Graham, who is likely to be their main goal threat, is cup tied for this game, and they've already sold Jordan Rhodes, so I can't see where the goals are going to come from for Blackburn, and I can just see West Ham sneaking past at 5-4.
Yeah, it's going to be a part of the bus job, isn't it, for Blackburn?
Yeah.
Maybe unders if you're thinking of.
Absolutely, yeah. Which would be a shorter price than West Ham to win, but it's certainly worth looking at.
Maybe West Ham and under 2.5 goals.
There you go.
That's a decent one. We actually do that on site as well if you want to have a little look.
There you go. Jake's exclusive tip there.
Yeah. I'm the man. And then next up, it's the final game we'll be covering, and it's the big one of the 5th round. It's Chelsea versus Man City. Chelsea obviously much improved under Hiddink, and Man City have had a little bit of a blip. Knowing that Pellegrini's leaving in the summer must be a bit weird for him and the team. Because ever since then they just haven't looked like the same side. So, but what do you think is going to happen in the match, Ross?
Yeah, huge teams facing up against each other. Actually, both coming off losses, of course, because Chelsea lost at PSG in midweek.
Yeah, that was the first loss under Hiddink.
First loss under Goose Hiddink, who's been really good for them. Sorted out their attacking worries where they weren't really scoring many goals, but under him, they've actually been scoring plenty. They actually started to sort out their backline as well when they were playing Mikau and Matic as a pair. But even that has actually started to crumble a little bit because they've only kept 2 clean sheets in 8. So I actually think that both teams to score here at 17-20 is a really good price. As I was saying, Chelsea have got an improved attack. Costa looks like the Costa of old rather than the Costa of 6 months ago, where he was absolutely
He looks
awful.
a completely different player compared to under Mourinho. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. So I fully expect Chelsea to score, and I also expect Man City to actually score as well. Terry's out, so they'll be lacking a bit of commitment at the back, I would argue. And they're up against the likes of Aguero and Sterling. I'm not sure that Ivanovic is going to be relishing that, as he's got an absolute lack of pace. And Cahill, who also isn't that pacey, of course.
No.
But Man City have played 39 games this season, only failed to score in 6 of them. So you have to assume that both teams will score here, and the offer of 17 to 20 best price using our odds comparison service, I think, is well worth taking on.
Yeah, you got a few bets here that'll be nice in an accumulator.
Absolutely.
Add them all up, which you can actually use the accumulator in the basket tool in the app at the moment, and pop them into an accumulator. We'll compare which has the best price for the accumulator of these tips. Ross will put the tips up in the video. And you'll be absolutely rolling in it for the weekend.
Absolutely rolling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, we'll actually leave the download link in the bottom of this video. Make sure that you download that for the weekend to make sure that you get the best odds, also the best free bets and offers from our commercial partners. And that's our tips for this weekend in the FA Cup 5th round. We hope that your team reaches the quarters, if they're not already out like our teams.
Yeah.
And all the best with your bets this weekend. Thanks for watching.
Bye.